More layer of difficulty here. Some ionic compounds are made up of more than one element, and we call those polyatomic ions. So okay, you have a list of all the polyatomic ions on the back of your periodic table. They're right here. They're listed by charge, so all of these polyatomic ions have a -1 charge, all of these have a -2 charge, all of these have a -3 charge. There is one polyatomic ion with a +1 charge. The names are listed next to them. When you see these, the naming is very simple. You just name it as it's written. Everything else follows through like before. So let's go through an example. Here we have SrNO2, 2. Okay, so when I consult the periodic table, this is strontium. And when I want to name the second part, this is the polyatomic ion, I consult my table. NO2 is nitrite. So this is going to be strontium nitrite. And when I name it, that's all I do. I don't need to change the name of a polyatomic ion. So when we name the polyatomic ion as written. We don't change the N to "ide." We don't do anything else. We just name it as it's written. All right. We can do one more example. Okay. This is a complex molecule, but I see the sodium, and then I see this is the polyatomic ion. That polyatomic ion is acetate. So the name for this is sodium acetate. Okay. Now, if you're given the name, then you work through it just like we've done with the other ones. So for instance, calcium phosphate. It'll always kind of clue you in that you're dealing with a polyatomic ion, because all of a sudden we have names that don't end in "ide." So when I see phosphate, that clues me in that I should consult the periodic table because it's a polyatomic ion. So I should look at my periodic table. I notice that calcium is a 2+ charge, and phosphate, when I find it on the table, is PO4, and it has a 3- charge. And this reminds me of one of the problems that I did earlier in this video. When I have a 2+ and a 3-, they're going to balance out when there's a 6+ and a 6- in total. So I'm going to need 3 calciums, and I'm going to need 2 phosphates in order for it to balance out. If I need multiple polyatomic ions, I want to make sure that I put brackets around the whole thing, and when I have my subscript, that's going to indicate that I have 2 phosphates. We can do one more. Let's look at this. It'll be potassium nitrate. Okay, potassium is a K with a +1. Nitrate, when I find that on my list, it's NO3, and it has a 1-. So we have a 1+ and a 1-. That balances out in a 1-to-1 ratio, so the formula is just going to be KNO3. All right. I will post a partial answer key to all these problems on the Google Classroom. I hope that you guys try your best, consult the notes on the board, work with each other. We will go over answers on Friday. Please don't be too frustrated if you're struggling. We'll have lots of time to review this, and I wish you best of luck.